Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from SethMarker.com.
Together, along with you, the three of us, we are Mark Ben's Breakfast Club, and welcome to Tobacco Advent 2019, Day 21.
Day 21.
Morning, boy.
Good morning, Homer. How are you?
I'm well. How
Yeah?
about yourself?
I'm doing
This thing's
excellent.
got some crazy
It does.
raffida, I think they call that.
That and all of the bags are also 7 years old.
Wow.
I guess 6 years, 7 years.
This is our 7th year.
This is our 7th year, so yeah, 7 years old.
Crazy. So what are we...
Maybe not. Did we have these for the first year? We had a different tree, didn't we?
No, we've been doing this from the very first year.
I feel
Well,
like-
it was a different tree, but it was the
Sorry.
same bags.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because we stole the tree from my wife, and she
we had to,
said,
like, bring
hey,
it back.
Where's my tree?
We're gonna bring it back every time or
Yeah,
something.
we
'Cause they had
did.
like cherry pepper lights or something on it.
Yes. Jandy was using that at home. It was in our living
It
room.
was like 20,
family room.
365.
Yes, because Boontar called us out of that one day.
Tree.
We had a picture on Instagram, and he's like, "Is that your Christmas tobacco
Tobacco
Advent
Advent
tree?"
Yes, it was.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a cornament and an ornament ready for whom?
New to Cobbs on YouTube and Glock Whiskey on Instagram. Same person.
He was the very first video posted in the 2019 International Corn Cob Pipe Month video contest.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
this is exciting.
Yeah, and so he sent The Haunting by Cornell Diehl. This is Virginia Leaf and Dominican Criollo.
Dominican Criollo. Is that how they spell crayon? Crayola?
Yeah, Crayola. It's Dominican Crayola.
All right.
Got a real waxy flavor.
I have smoked crazier things. That does remind me, though, of a line from the song.
Of course it does. Let's just leave
What?
it there. No.
What you eating there, boy? Crayons?
I know they're Martian cigarettes.
That's the one. Here.
Yeah.
Here,
Here, try one.
Here, try one.
What
Meanwhile,
a weird,
back at E.
what a weird song. What a weird song.
Is that
So
Martian Boogie, I think is what that
It
song
is.
is called.
I have grown up my entire life with him quoting that line.
He's saying,
Just that line.
What you eating there, boy? Crayons?
Just that line. And so I know it so well. And only, I don't know, 6 months ago, so I on Spotify and searched for that song and listened to it for the first time with my wife. It's weird. It is so weird.
What can I say? It impacted me as a young teen, I think.
It's so, and I was not expecting the voices either.
Well, you
Like
know, they're Martian
yeah.
cigarettes. Here, try one.
Yeah. Yeah, the pitch of the voice really was unexpected. Oh man.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you when we were. Can I tell you when we were listening to this?
Yeah.
And why it was even extra
Yeah.
weird. My wife and I were in the Everglades. So in the Everglades, there are signs up everywhere as you're driving around for panthers. So the Florida panther is in the Everglades, and there are signs just like you would have deer crossing signs,
Yeah.
and panther crossing signs up all over the place. I'm pretty sure we listened to that during the 28 miles that I was driving back and forth along the same 7-mile stretch of highway trying to see a panther that night. And so that was the soundtrack to our panther hunt, and that makes it even extra bizarre. Oh man.
I don't know why that'd be so bizarre.
All right, what's our question today?
Our question is, do you think you could live without your smartphone or other technology item for 24 hours? All right, so first off, let's just say we've all done this. We've all lived without it for 24 hours. So, yeah, I mean, of course, we could live without it. Should we expand it out beyond 24 hours?
No.
I think that's the only way. It's sort of like people who think that if you smoke a pipe, it's like cigarettes and you can't live without your pipe. And I will go, days, weeks, even months not smoking a pipe if I, sometimes it happens. So I don't have an addiction to nicotine. Do I have an addiction to checking my social media and things like that, or checking my inbox? Oh yeah, absolutely, I sure do. And when we were in Kentucky this summer for that mission trip, that was really hard on me. I have to admit, that was tough.
There was very little self-service, and you can use your phone without the internet for things like pictures and videos, but what on your phone that you do, what percentage of it doesn't require some sort of internet connection? It's wild what we're used to. I look at this question two ways. The first is, as it reads, could you live without the phone, iPad, other things? Yeah, it's tough, and you find that some things that just are a natural ebb and flow of your daily life are disrupted by that. Just like the question a few days ago about, if you didn't have some apps, could you survive using the web browser version, right? What a first world problem to have. Oh, I have to use the Facebook in my Chrome tab instead of having the app, right? But I mean, if the question is, could you live without technology, right?
Right.
For a day.
Because not everybody has a smartphone.
Well, I mean, what in your life, what in our daily lives isn't technology driven?
I know.
I mean, in my home, that's television, that's thermostat, that's any sort of music devices. You could take it.
My toothbrush has an LED and a motor on it.
Yeah.
My toothbrush. Now, Can I brush my teeth without turning the thing on, or if the battery dies?
Sure.
Of course I can, but even that's weird
Mm-hmm.
to use a toothbrush that isn't vibrating in my face hole.
Yeah, I mean, without technology, I mean, the vast majority of the meals I eat are using modern day electronics, right? We call it that. I mean, sure, your oven and stove, that is technology too, but I use a sous vide machine. It's connected via Wi-Fi. I can't even set it up the right way without my phone, and I use that to cook most of my meals as a technology in and of itself.
Ooh, so this phone thing hits you even with the sous vide machine?
You
can't do that manually on the...
You can't set the timer. You can set the...
You can start the temperature.
You can start the temperature, but you can't set the timer. So that's one. And my kids, I guess it's just me, maybe? I can live without it, sure, 24 hours. I mean, you go camping, you're living without it for 24 hours. Not a big deal. But is living without it in your day-to-day life convenient? No. I was without my computer at work for a better part of a week.
Oh, that's hard.
And I was basically using a Bluetooth keyboard on my phone to write emails and do any sort of work-related stuff. And that was miserable.
Yeah.
That was miserable.
If you expand this out, like you say, and think about technology, my pellet smoker's fantastic, and I'm tempted by all the new technology that's going into pellet smokers now. But even without technology, my pellet smoker has a motor that runs the auger that runs the pellets in. It has a motor that runs a fan that controls how hot it's getting. It's got a thermostat that is displaying the internal temperature of the pellet smoker, but it also has a plug-in thermometer to plug into your meat.
Right.
So much technology, and it's like a super simple pellet smoker. Well, now they have them that are Wi-Fi or Bluetooth enabled, and they've got all these additional features, and there's one of them that's got like 4 ports for plugging 4 different internal thermometers in, and those things are all super cool, and each one of those is one more thing to fail. And will it continue to function as a smoker even as those things start to die off? I don't know that we know the answer to that.
Well, and taking the question to the most extreme, even simple machines are a form of technology. I had to read a book for a class once called The Axe Maker's Gift, and it talked about how until humans and the axe, really, the advent of this
Iron
simple
Age or the
technology,
Bronze Age,
even
or-
before that, even just the axe, just a stone axe,
Okay.
right? That nature has had a cyclical pattern, right? Nature, without man's intervention, is cyclical. Creatures rise, die, go back to the dirt, all this stuff, right? And with the advent of the axe, humans' progression became linear. We're progressing beyond and not going back to this beginning state,
Right.
right? Over and over and over again. The axe is a piece of technology. You talked about the auger,
Yeah.
but the machinery of it is technology. But at its most simple, it is an inclined plane wrapped around a cylinder.
A screw.
That's technology, right? So we, I think, don't realize how inundated and how much a part of our lives it is, even beyond just the electronics of it all.
I pulled off the side of the road one day to eat my lunch. This was many years ago. And there was a dog in the yard next to me. And I watched this dog go around the yard, go around a certain number of trees, up onto the roof of the doghouse, and then down, and then back around on the yard, and then around the certain trees, then up on the doghouse, and then around the yard. And I noticed that he had worn a path all the way around this small yard from doing that exact same pattern time and time again. And when I was recovering from my knee surgery, both of them, I noticed that. I open up Facebook, I check a couple things.
yeah.
I open up Facebook pages, check a couple things. I open up Instagram, check a couple things. Check YouTube, and then I'm back to Facebook, or check the inbox.
Right.
And I was that dog following that technological fence that I had put around myself. And it's sort of like when you realize how few websites you regularly check. Whatever the news aggregator, whatever the sports, whatever the entertainment that you see, you will find that you look back around to see if something new's been posted.
Yeah.
We're in that same rut that we've created for ourselves.
Wheezy Waiter
Yes.
YouTube channel did an interesting experiment, he and his wife, where they went technology free or internet free for a month. And one of the things on that he found was interesting is he said, I started reading the newspaper because instead of reading everything that is happening immediately, instead of getting alerts for every piece of new news as it happens and seeing all of it, he's like, it is actually freeing to only see the things that have been properly curated.
Yeah. That's true.
And so he, said he enjoyed going back to pre-technology use of just reading a paper.
And when you read the newspaper, you also oftentimes will get a more complete story.
Yeah.
If you're getting your news from the radio or from television, it's one of the reasons why I enjoy NPR. And NPR does have a certain slant to it, I'll admit to that. But you will hear a report that'll go on for 5 minutes talking about something that's going on in some part of the world. And if you're listening to the news that comes on in between songs, if they mention what's going on in Hong Kong, you're going to get a quick little blurb and then on to the next topic. So,
well, Philip DeFranco talks about this often. He talks about how if you look at, the news cycle, they push out a story, whether it's true or not. The original story gets 10 million views or 10 million whatever impressions. And then if it turns out something was wrong and they have to post a retraction, the retraction gets 100,000. And he said, we're in such a rush that we're not doing due diligence. And so we push out this false information that becomes fact in the public opinion because no one is paying attention to them saying, oh, by the way, we messed that up. Or what will happen is they'll add an editor's note at the bottom, a revision, after the initial surge of audience has seen it.
Do you remember the kid in front of the Lincoln Memorial that the news initially broke that this kid got in the face of this Native American who was just there to play a song or to give a blessing or something like that, and it just blew up. And I mean,
Yeah.
for a couple hours, it's all you could see and hear.
Like
And
kid, I
then,
mean, high school student.
yeah, and then you end up seeing the full footage of it, and you find out that the kid never moved, and this other guy approached him and got up in his face. Again, not casting aspersions on either of their motives here, but what we were fed initially was not the whole story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting.
And to that point, most people don't know the true story.
No, I don't think a lot of folks
They
bother to
only
see
know
that.
they only know what came out first.
That's true.
So,
All right, so the answer to the question about could you live 24 hours without your smartphone or technology? Yes, you could. And
would it be hard? Yes, it would.
It would. So, how about you? I mean, it's curious to see how much time, if you pull up on your smartphone, you can see which apps are using the most battery or memory. They don't necessarily tell you how much time you're spending in each one.
They do.
It was surprising to me with an old version of the iPhone that I had that had a just horrible battery life. And I pulled that up to see, well, what am I using? Yeah. And I realized I'm using apps I didn't realize I was using, but I was using them a lot.
I think the screen time function now does show ones that you're actually looking at. I get a weekly report. I get a weekly report about my screen time usage, and it says, hey, you're using this. You went up from average or down from average, and you don't get that. No. You can set that up. It's pretty cool, at least on the iPhone.
Interesting. So. All right. So answer the question, and we will see you tomorrow.
Tobacco was great.
I was just going to say.
I really enjoyed it.
What do you think of the tobacco?
I thought it was good. We've had a couple of days of aromatics, and having the Virginia was a nice palate cleanser for me.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Thank you very much for sending that along to us. And again,
check out New to Cobb's.
New and the number 2 Cobb's. We'll put a link in the doobly-doo as we do. And we will see you all tomorrow for day 21. Make it a great day.
See ya.